G'day, fellas, and welcome to a casted game. We are here. We are back in the casting booth, and boy, oh boy, does it feel good to be finally back. We've been playing a lot of FFA lately. We've been enjoying some crazy strategies. We've been trying to mix it up. We've been doing Dark Age challenges. We've been doing one unit only challenges. We've just been trying to win on Order of the Dragon. That's been a challenge in of itself. But today, we do things a little bit differently. Today, we cast professional players in their natural habitat out on the Octagon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's a pleasure to have your company. We've got some big names in today's game, and I tell you what, I'm excited for it. I'm really looking forward to it because we are going to have an absolute banger of a game. We're going to learn, we're going to study, most importantly, we're going to enjoy. So let's get to it and let's introduce our players for today. We'll start off at the 12 o'clock position, work our way around in a bit of a clock. Spawning in at the 1 o'clock position in the color blue, playing as the Ayyubids, it's VortiX. Yeah, have a look at that. We got VortiX in here. He's a big boy. In at the 2 o'clock position in the color teal, currently ranked inside the top 50 for FFA, so doing pretty damn well. We've got XT Space on the French in teal. Down at the 4 o'clock position in the color orange, playing as the Byzantines, we've got our Chinese friend. Currently the lowest player in the lobby by quite a bit as well, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Because this can be kind of tough, right? Being the lowest player in the lobby. But I will just say that this lobby is incredibly talented when it comes to skill. Everybody here, with the exception of Orange, is in the top 100 for FFA. That's kind of wild. Spawning in over at the 7 o'clock position in the color yellow as the Order of the Dragon, we've got Lehakos 6316 with, I like that he's got the, is that the launch connector? No, that's a Janissary? I think that's a I'm not sure what that is. I feel like it could, I think it's a Janissary. I think it's a Janissary. And you know what else is terrible apart from Janissaries? This right here, running your king into an enemy TC. I don't think Green is yet to put his town center down. A little bit of an awkward spot. Anyway, we move on. At the 8 o'clock position in the color pink, playing as the Mongols, it's Beastyqt. That is correct. We got two big pros in one little game. Oh boy, this is gonna be good. And at the 10 o'clock position in the color purple, playing as the Malians, currently sitting inside the top 10 on the FFA ladder, we've got Zavexer. Zavexer? I feel like that's right. Zaverex. We're just gonna call him Xavier. No, there's no I in there. Zaverex in the purple, Malians. Did random this game. We've also got random down here on Lehakos, and also going to be randoming is El Sensei. El Sensei is on the random. But speaking of El Sensei, it's going to be someone close to him here at the 11 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock position. Kind of 9:30, 10 o'clock position, somewhere around that. We have got ourselves in the color red playing as the Byzantines. Yellow up. And still making his decision, making his mind up about where he wants to put down that town center. We've got ourselves a green player who is still on the hunt, still looking. And I got to say, I respect this, right? I respect this a lot. I know what he's doing. He's looking for water. He knows that it's mega random. He knows that there's going to be water on this map. And he says, you know what? I'm going to find this water. And when I do, I'm going to settle it. I'm going to put my town center next to it. And I'm going to have myself a good game. Yeah, I might have accidentally moved away from the water at the very beginning. Like I was barely half a screen away from it. You can you kind of tell? Maybe not really. You can't really tell that there's been water there, but he's looking. And can we just appreciate right now how spread these spawns are, but not just how spread these spawns are. Have a look at this. You've got 4 players with a pond each. You got purple with a pond here. You got teal with a pond. You got orange with a pond. And you got pink with the pond. Everybody is solo ponding it up with the exception of Beasty, who's going to have someone joining him on the pond right now. It's going to be Lehakos. Now, I said earlier that we will take a little bit of a look at what strategies players are doing. Maybe give them a little bit of feedback as well. Let me know what you think about the feedback because we're not really coaching here. We're just kind of like throwing out our ideas. When there's 8 people playing, you're going to see a lot of ideas, so you can kind of bounce it off. But one of the things that I always kind of follow as a general rule is if I'm playing the Order of the Dragon, as a general rule of thumb, I kind of like to focus on relics, right? Like that's the big thing about the Civ. You don't have to play the Civ that way, but it definitely is a big component of it. And often that means rushing for the relics, right? So you want to try and beat other players there. And one of the things that's happened here as we see the Mongol Falcon come up is that you've been quite late to get out onto the water here. Now, we do know that Beasty's nearby the water. We know that he's probably going to be on it. So we're probably not going to have this for a long time. And even if we deny water from him, like that's definitely a valid expression of what we should be looking to do here. But we should be focusing on ourselves, right? Like, because at the end of the day, Beasty's going to be Beasty. And we need to try and take him out. But at the same time, we need to think about, you know, restoring the great name of the Order of the Dragon Empire. So that I would say maybe focus a little bit more on the relics, a little bit less on whatever's going on. And have a look at this. Green's actually spotting out what Orange is up to. He's having a little bit of an inspection. Hello, how's it going out over here? We have finally settled down. It's right next to the water. That's where Green's decided. The town center is up. He's only just started producing villages right now. We can ride on board and see how far behind he is. So he's only just going to produce his first villager right now. Have a look compared to his neighbor. So let's have a look. 3, 2, 1. Boom, there it is. First village, 6 minutes. Compare that to his neighbor. 2 docks. Going for a second cistern. Currently sitting on 19 economic units. 20 economic units now. A little bit of population blocked. We'll be throwing down his landmark shortly. I'm assuming it's going to be the Hippodrome because you're playing the Byzantines and you got to go for the Hippodrome, right? Like you'd be crazy to think that this would be an amazing spot for your Grand Winery, especially when you got that much water. Just wouldn't do it. I don't even know if I'm being sarcastic at the moment. But age ups are coming through. Have a look at this. We got economic wing growth coming through for VortiX. Very interesting decision to use that now. I've much more been a fan of using that for Castle Age. But the age up does come through. He's going to be the first one up now to the Castle Age. We will have other players joining him shortly, as he does have... where's XT Space and where is his age up? Actually, you know what? VortiX doesn't have water. And, you know, now that I think about it, this is going to be a tough game for VortiX, because not only is he up against, you know, Beasty on the other side of the lobby, but he's up against players that have got an entire water advantage over him. So, think of it this way, right? This XT Space and VortiX have just fought on Holy Island or some map with like water, right? And VortiX has lost. Except it's at the very beginning of the game, and VortiX never even went on the water. Like it's that was a terrible analogy. I know, I'm sorry. But look, this is I don't know how VortiX possibly will overcome this. He has got, and there's a lot of threat right here as well. I will say that much. I wouldn't be surprised if after seeing Orange roll over the top of Green, which will inevitably happen, if Teal's not focusing on VortiX, then you're probably going to see Orange look to do that same thing. Now, it looks like we do have age up starting to come through across the map. Beasty now throwing down the deer stones. Meanwhile, inside the base of the Malians, we have the Mansa Quarry coming up. A lot of vills here. 8 vills rushing this up. So it looks like he could be getting aggressive. Indeed he is. Now, does Beasty spot this? He does see this. So he should be looking to rush right now. So I'd be looking to rush the deer stones up as quickly as possible. He's already got the double dock, though. I guess that's one thing to note. I'm curious to see how Beasty plays this, because I would argue that when it comes to the spawns, while Beasty's, you know, he had a decent little spot here, this is probably the worst spawn out of everybody, just because he's very close to 2 people, right? Like, you could argue Green's spawn is the worst, but it's not. Like, it was just that Green, he kind of got over here late. So it's going to be hard. I mean, Red's going to be in a bit of a tough spot. In fact, everyone up here is kind of close to one another. With the exception of, I feel like Beasty's kind of stuck in the middle, right? Like that's the way it feels. He is playing the Mongols, so he can always like move on to greener pastures. Well, I mean, technically in this case, they're going to be pinker pastures, but still, you get the picture. Anyway, it looks like Malian's now going to be putting on pressure on Beasty's pond. So definitely a good player, right? Like as I mentioned when I introduced him, this guy is in the top 10. Very, very competent. Knows exactly what to do in these FFA situations. Needs to hit his neighbors. Needs to think about them, definitely. When it comes to playing the Malians, right? Like, you've got a couple of options as to how you play it, but the most common seems to be that sort of cow boom strategy. So this is something that's definitely synergetic. I don't know if synergetic's the right word, but it synergizes with that kind of playstyle. Beasty not going to be losing out the Khan, even though that Gilded Spearman is already out and present. No age up coming through just yet. There it is. 4 vills on the minework. XT Space now going to be aging up as well. Will be the School of Cavalry in the top side of the base. We'll ride on board with VortiX and see how he's doing, as a lot of vills on stone, and that's going to be Castle Age already coming through for him. Now, this timing is pretty decent. He'll be up just before the 11-minute mark. But I want to point out something interesting, because while we were critiquing on the south side our Order of the Dragon player, let's just critique VortiX a little bit here. Or not even critique, but just like, you know, provide a little bit of food for thought. So he's gone 3 vills into 3 dervish. Now, I would have said, or I would say, I will say it right now, do it the other way. You go dervish into 8 vills. And the reason why is simple. you get those dervish a little bit sooner, and sure, you get one less dervish. Instead of getting 3, you get 2. But they're already out on the map, so right now, like, they could be in position to pick up, like, the contested relics, which I think he knows about. Let's have a look and see. He doesn't know about that one. Actually, doesn't know about these relics just yet. These are really, really important relics, the contested ones, and you can move out to grab those. Now, obviously, he doesn't know about them, but just from a hypothetical perspective, in general, makes sense to do. On top of that, it would be 8 vills that you get in Castle Age instead of the 3 vills. Now, it looks like he's going to be going straight into multi-town centers, right? Like, we see that coming through right now. He's kind of delaying throwing down those TCs, which is interesting. He's going to put down the mosque initially, or first, and we see him straight away moving out for the relics. Now, he's seeing 3 relics, so he moves immediately for them. And this is going to be so tough when you've got, like, Order of the Dragon is just feeling terrible right now. I mean, he doesn't know it, but surely he knows that in his heart of hearts, things are not going to be going well for the relic game for the Order of the Dragon today. We'll check in with Beastyqt and see how he's doing. Over on the water, Demo Ship has tried to take out the war junk. Not going to be able to find too much success there. Beasty also repelling with the dock. It's picked up the emplacements. Meanwhile, towards the south, Beasty's got himself a little bit of a 2v1 on the FFA angle. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, we don't see it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they've said, hey, we got to take out Beasty. You know, Beasty's in the lobby. He's really scary. I can tell you right now, all these top-level FFA guys are, like, checking AoE4 World. They're studying their opponent. They're writing up, like, a thesis before they get into the game. Like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to play it. Like, I got to respect this guy. You know, it's very much about that. But now we've got more relics coming through for El Sensei. We'll be keeping an eye on him throughout this game because, as I've mentioned, this is not going to be an easy game for him, right? Like, he's up against a neighbor with mass water over here, like just absolute crazy amounts of water, who is just going to be funneling all of his food, or at least should be funneling all of his food, into knights, right? Like, and that's essentially what should happen. Meanwhile, Beasty, he's managed pretty decently over here, considering it's a 2v1. Unit's going to be coming out as well. He's going to be holding on for dear life. Let's check in over on that east side. Beasty's now doing a little bit more scouting. Let's check in with XT Space. I want to have a look how his macro is going. This is what I suspected. A lot of food macro at the moment. Now, XT Space is pretty good. He's 1300 on the FFA ladder. So I didn't expect that his macro would be this poor, but I think he's just going Imp, or Castle Age. He'll be looking to put a keep down right here. You can tell from the way that he's building his buildings here. So this guy, he's a French expert. And he has actually chosen French this game. So he's going to be looking to take advantage of that. Beasty's still holding on out here. Ubu not going to go down. Never give up, never surrender. Meanwhile, towards that south side, Beasty is cleaning house down here. He says, get off the water. This is my water. You know the rules. This is a Mongol zone only. But this has cost Beasty a lot of time, right? Like, when you think about it from his perspective, I mean, to be fair, he's securing water. If he can secure water, oh, he's trying. Nicely done. Warjunk's managed to survive. So I think that's all you really need. Now that he's got that, like, this is... I almost feel like he's kind of over-invested in water. And don't get me wrong, like, it's important to defend your water. But you always have to be careful about balancing that. Because let's say you throw... How many vessels have we got here? How many ships have we got? Like, we've got... This is 350 resources. This is 230? Like, you're talking about a lot of resources that are going out here. These are resources that your enemy might be spending on land army, on Castle Age, that sort of thing. But the age up has now come through. I'm assuming it's going to be the guild hall. Indeed it is. I'm expecting to see a keep thrown down here shortly. A distinct lack of units as well from XT Space at the moment. And I'm kind of like hoping that he's going to be the guy that really looks to put a challenge to VortiX. Purple has definitely focused a lot of his energy on taking out Beasty. And these games, especially at high levels, it just becomes about taking out the best player in the lobby. Because the best player is the best player for a reason, right? They know how to win games. They have, you know, they've consistently... I just realized, do Byzantines have unique ships? These kind of look like the Abbasid ships, but they still look different from the Abbasid ships. But yeah, it very much becomes about taking out the highest player in the lobby. Like, I remember watching Salami, who's rank 1 in FFA, playing up against rank number 2. And Salami got into this battle early on against like a random player. He was playing Jeanne d'Arc. He just got into a random battle with this guy. I didn't kill him, but he was like kind of owning him and just going for like a TC boom. Meanwhile, the rank 2 player on the other side of the map just went fast castle, 2 TC fast castle, and made like 30 palace guards and just ran them into Salami's base. Just killed Salami straight away. And it's like, he was nowhere near him. If you looked at the game at the end, he was absolutely nowhere near him. and yet still went after him because he knew that was the biggest threat in that game. And that guy obviously went on to go win that game, despite not attacking his neighbors. But speaking of attacking your neighbors, Beasty right here does get the step redoubt up, so he does get to Castle Age, but now the men-at-arms are going to start haunting him. And this is that whole idea of, you know, making sure that you don't invest too much in water. Beasty does double down on water, though, and I think that's definitely the right call. Let's ride on board with him for a little bit here. Economy definitely feeling... Oh, this is actually feeling quite bad for Beasty. Where does he go from here? This is going to be tough. Probably wants to stay on the shoreline, which he's doing. I almost feel like I'm watching an Age of Empires 3 game. This is what would happen all the time in Age of Empires 3. You just kind of defend on the water. And look at this. We got El Sensei out here just looking for relics. It's going to get taken out. Beasty needs to find additional resources. We got ourselves the first king kill. I think... Was that a donation? I think it might have been. Yellow... I don't see... Yeah, there's the king right there under the TC. So Green's donated his king to yellow. Apologies for not catching that. It can always be a little bit tough. I got to pay more attention to the minimap, though. Yeah, so king donation coming off. Green there, unfortunately, you know, sending the king off. And that's just one of those things where it's like a little bit of a skill issue, right? Like you should have a couple of horsemen out in preparation for the king to be running. You should try and track it. But Beasty now going to be under pressure. Have a look at this. He's getting double teamed here, which is not a happy spot. And this is something that we called out from the beginning. This was always going to be difficult for him, right? Like you're up against Order of the Dragon. You're up against the Malians. They're right next to you. They want blood. And I think that's it, right? Like they realize that Beasty's one of the best players in the lobby. They got to take him out. But I think what Yellow doesn't realize is that Purple's also a really good FFA player as well. And it may have been manipulated into attacking Beasty. So Beasty's going to pop the king. Do we have a transport ship? Transport ship is waiting. Beasty's going to pop the movement speed, gets past all the villagers. Now going to be able to get safely into the transport. Keeps himself alive a little bit longer. And it's going to be very hard to take out Beasty from this position because he does have decent water control. So to actually take Beasty out here, you're going to need to establish some sort of front and then throw the dock down and then beat Beasty on water and then try and take out the king. And then you got to make sure that the king doesn't just drop himself over on this side and then just run out over here, which is exactly what would happen. But we now start to see quite a bit of villagers moving out here. Stonewall's going to be coming up as well on the north side. VortiX is really looking quite decent here. A lot of relics in the bag. He's got 6 relics. And now the unit numbers are going to start pumping up. We're 17 minutes into the game. Not quite Imperial just yet, but is looking to really start building up. Varangian Guard numbers are decent as well for his opponent here. Now, this Byzantine player is 3 TC as well. So one thing to note, so if we do a quick Vil check, 84 Vils here compared to Yellow up, who's on 94. So he should be more than capable of keeping up with regard to economy. The only difference you're going to see is that relic difference, which is going to start adding up over the course of the game. But this early on, it shouldn't make too much impact. But hold your horses. That's the House of Wisdom reaching level 3 right there. A little bit more production speed. Definitely nice to have. Beautiful mix of units coming in as well here. Up against only Varangian Guard. He needs to be careful to avoid losing these units. Classic villagers have not built this one stone wall segment. Though to be fair, he's only building it with 1 villager. Cataphract's now going to be coming out. He could look to charge through. Does manage to do it. Finds a decent spot onto the back. Crossbows are able to focus these units down. But VortiX holding for the moment. Meanwhile, back towards that south side, Beasty is going to be looking to defend as well. We got multiple fights happening in this game. Teal just still chilling, by the way. Hasn't made any... I was going to say hasn't made any units. Going to go and attack orange. And now, all of a sudden, it looks like the production coming out from VortiX is quite decent here. He doesn't have a huge amount of production buildings, but he's definitely doing a good job. I love the fact that he's making the rams out of the Siege Workshop. It makes life so much easier, because you just set and forget and just rally the rams to the front. Keep is going to come up. Could look to hold it, but he's rallying units out towards the front. This is where the keep, instead of the keep coming down, the keep wants to be back here, and then he just wants to rally towards this position and then try and defend from here. Because if you're rallying out like this is just, it's a critical mass, and it's just going to knock out every one of the units that you send in. Age ups now come through. Regnitz Cathedral is online. Somehow this relic is still here until the very end of the game, or until the 19th minute somehow. So he's going to add 1 relic to his name, but probably, I mean, look, that's probably the best use of your landmarks. Beasty's still holding on, sieging down some houses. He's got men-at-arms himself, but on that north side, it looks like El Sensei is going to be able to take an early name here. I suspect Yellow Up's probably not going to be in this game for too much longer, just judging by the way that El Sensei's pushing forward. I love the fact he's got these battering rams, and he continues to rally them through. We don't see any more of them in queue, but he's got a decent amount of resources for it. But he's done very well. Farm transition also going to be coming through now as well. But 3 TCs, 97 Vils. Definitely very comfortable. He was going to throw down another keep, but has gone probably too far forward with this keep. Might need to think about pulling Vils to repair the keep. Even if you do that, you're going to be losing them. So not likely to really go down. Mangonel in placement comes out, and it goes down immediately. And at this stage, Yellow Ups really is... Where are the resources at, Yellow Up? He's struggling. He's struggling to put together a cohesive defense here. Not the best situation for him, and Vortex is looking strong early on here. Vils coming out as well. We now see the King going to be moving towards the Red Palace in the middle. Am I seeing my eyes right? I'm seeing the Red Palace. Maybe I'm not seeing the King. Yeah, I'm not seeing the King just yet. Meanwhile, Beasty now still copping flack here from the Malians. It has been non-stop. Keep in mind, Malians is at uncontested water all this time. Beasty's only just managed to secure his water. Transport ship out here. And holding on. He's got his ships nearby to help support. I do like this position. XT space reaches Imperial Age. Definitely a bit uncontested over here. But we do have ourselves another battle beginning to brew on the east side of the map. Teal up against Orange. Not the Mongols. The Byzantines up against the French. Archer numbers, decent on the back, but remember these Lament and I do have the access to shield wall, and Yellow Up is going to be eliminated. That is a surrender that comes through, so does the righteous thing, doesn't donate the king off to somebody else. Now, when it comes to kill counts for kings, let's keep in mind, a lot of Ks right there. Yellow's got 1 kill so far, so he's a threat in this game, but El Sensei is about to pick up his first kill. Meanwhile, towards that south side, Beasty is still holding on. Beasty's wishing he found the space that VortiX found this game. VortiX has had a lot of space, and Beasty manages to keep his head up for the moment. Let's ride on board with him and just check what that Vil count's looking at. 81 Vils at the moment, compared over to his nearest opponent at 75 Vils. So the eco's pretty similar at this stage. Also important to note, the Grand Fulani Corral is online, and there's a lot of production, or a lot of food that's going to be coming through from that. I'm assuming he's picked up his upgrades. He's picked up one of the upgrades so far. But we're going to see more TCs coming down from him. And you can see that right now, like, this is one of those things where he was hoping... Purple was definitely hoping he would just roll over Beasty quickly with the help of Yellow. And it just wasn't the case, right? Like, it's been a long, drawn-out fight. The biggest problem that you have when this kind of thing occurs is that people like VortiX are just kind of chilling, right? Like, he is having a good life. He's having a great time over there. You know, we've got this fight that was happening over on this east side. Unfortunately, we missed quite a bit of that. Apologies. Yeah, at this stage, my biggest fear is that there's going to be a runaway. And that runaway is most likely just going to be VortiX up here. So we want to keep an eye out on him. Big mango shot comes down, trying to hit the outpost. Outpost should get up here. He's going to rush it up, manages to get some Vils inside. Main town center is here as well. Keep in mind that the king still sits out here on the water. He's got a little bit of a patrol happening. Lots of Vils as well. But now we've got that second player looking to attack, and this just feels terrible, man. There's nothing worse than getting teamed up on, especially getting called out like this, but it's just one of those things that are going to happen, right? People are just going to call you out and be like, I know this player is good. We need to kill this guy. Otherwise, we're going to lose to him no matter what. Like, he will just outplay us, so we have to team up on him. And it happens, right? Like, it just happens. I played a game recently with Demu. He did the exact same thing. He's like, this guy's Aussie Drongo. We got to take him out. He's too strong. Meanwhile, like, he's hiding. I think he was hiding under a different name. Actually, he might have been playing under his own name there. But it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny because Demu's very good at FFA as well. And that's a huge part, right? Like, politics is a massive part of it. But it looks like this might be it for Beasty. I don't see any way he makes it out of this. It's just been unfortunate, right? Like, and the other thing to note, Yellow has just been chilling this whole time. And this is the kind of play that I get really annoyed with, because Yellow hasn't done anything to increase his chance of winning this game. Right? Like, with the exception of getting a king donated to him, there's not much going on here, right? Like, didn't fast castle for relics, didn't go into a second town center, hasn't gone into a third town center, hasn't gone fast imperial, hasn't got an Elsbach, hasn't got, you know, Swabia printing villages. There's nothing going on down here. And I think he might feel like he's contributing to the game, but the reality is Beasty's been dead for a long time, right? Like, there are bigger fish to fry right here. Beasty, I respect this. Like, this right here, I respect this guy's game. That is for sure. Double docks right here. I think he's honestly just doing this to build warships. Yeah, he's building warships in this pond. So he's hoping that this will help defend. I mean, you could do a demo in here. That wouldn't be terrible. Let's see. El Sensei reaches the Imperial Age. Is the second one up now? So he is going to be moving the king to a safer position by the looks of it. Yeah, King's moving up to the north. Imperial Age did come through. It's going to be the Eco Wing that he's gone for. And then he's going to save the Military Wing for last, because that's normally the best one to do. Beasty getting some decent value right here. Malians helping him out, taking out the battering ram. Keep in mind, the king is out here. He's going to move it over to the other side, takes the villagers with him. Beasty really holding on, and I got to say, I respect this so much. I respect this so damn much, dude. Splitting up the landmarks as well, wants to keep them all alive. Like, this is how it's done, right? Like, you got to respect a guy that does this, that tries his best to win the game, no matter what. Meanwhile, like, VortiX is just, you know, this guy's sitting back. He's got the pina colada. Maybe he got a Red Bull. I got a Red Bull. Give me a second. I got to have a sip right here. That's good. That's good. This is nice. Like, this is what Beasty wants. But I don't know how Beasty escapes out of this. King is on the shoreline. He's throwing down... Oh, we got more docks coming down. It looks like... Yeah, we've got some docks attempting to come in here. Look at the amount of fishing boats he's got. Beasty, the fishing madman. Look at that. That is absolutely wild, dude. Beasty plus water equals fishing boats. So we've got the dock coming up now. Springalds together with mangoes. Mangoes are terrible, by the way. I hate playing against mangoes on water. I don't know how to kill them. Maybe you need like Zebex or something. What are they? Yeah, Balschwans. Maybe that's the way, but it's so hard to kill the mangoes, dude. They're so tanky. All right, second dock attempting to come up here. Beasty gonna find out the hard way about how good those mangoes are against warships. They are really, really good. Do they get bonus damage against warships? They do. 24. No wonder. I had 4 war junks up against a single mangonel at half health, and the mangonel beat them all. I was like, wow, impressive. Very, very impressive. I don't know. I don't know if I had 4. It was a decent amount. Is he Imperial Age? Those have got decent range on them. He doesn't. They're able to find some shots here, though. Beasty's got to be careful with that king. I don't know exactly where it is. He's moved it over towards the side here. So he's looking to start a new home. The only problem is there's going to be an Elsbach nearby. He's trying his best to keep himself alive. Live, Beasty, live. Run the town center. Allow the town centers to live. Find prosperity, my friend. Meanwhile, slowly and steadily. Let's check in. I want to see how he's doing. I'd love to see a few more outposts starting to build up here. For VortiX, that would be really nice. So get that vision, because at the moment he doesn't really know much, right? And I think that's one of the big things that can hurt you, is if you don't know a lot, like, you can really be punished by that. So I think having a bit more confirmation. Look at this beautiful king control here, making sure the king is safe at the back of the base. So even if you take down these outer perimeter walls and break through with a whole bunch of cavalry, they're still not going to be able to cause the end of his life. He will have time to respond. But definitely no easy way to kill VortiX at the moment. I will say that much. He's still definitely sitting as favorite. Meanwhile, it seems like XT Space and Orange are just going ham at each other. They're getting mad at each other. Still trying to push out. It looks like we are going to have a little bit of... oh, I don't like this at all for Beasty. Now that the Malians are on water, it feels like only a matter of time until he doesn't win that fight, because there's just so many resources that the Malians are pumping in to this fight. XT Space going to continue rolling down over Orange, and Orange is just going to surrender. He's going to give up. He says, you know what? That's a decent-sized army. I'm not going to be able to take it. And throws in the towel at the end of the day. Keep in mind, he did also lose that early king, unfortunately, which sucks, and that's probably contributed to his decision today. But this is a good thing for XT Space. This frees him up, and it now means that he can focus on VortiX. And you can see immediately he says, you know what? I do need to focus on VortiX. I'm going to put down a stone wall between us. The only problem is, VortiX ain't going to let it happen. VortiX realizes, okay, you've just killed that guy. I can't let you now build up. King still hasn't died, by the way. King still hasn't died, by the way. Don't do it. Oh, it's a classic Drongo move. This is something that I specialize in. I do this one all the time. I don't know what happened here, that the king somehow got hit a couple of times and then just was left. But I'm sure VortiX realizes with the absence... Okay, I think he's picked it up. With the death of Orange, it's only a matter of time until it was going to be Teal. I don't know if he killed any landmarks, but there we go. He gets the extra pop. And now begins to look to push down upon the town center. Keep in mind, there is a transport ship at the back here, so probably wants to move out sooner rather than later here. VortiX with a huge army begins pushing through. A lot of units here. right on board with maybe Leha. I don't think Leha's going to have too much going on. Beasty's still looking to try and keep things alive. Outpost is coming up. Can we just check in with Beasty just quickly? Beasty doesn't know. Oh, poor Beasty. King's in the back of the base. Meanwhile, big fight over towards that east side. It is going down right now. I'm yelling timber. Meanwhile, Beasty, he's getting chased. He's getting chased. He's trying to start a new life. He just wants to be free. You can see him trying to reunite at the moment. Where is he even heading? He's heading somewhere safe. But it looks like he might get spot out by the Malian player. Meanwhile, on that east side, King is now under pressure. It's going to be a fight. In the end, it's going to be Yellow that takes the kill, and Beasty goes down after 30 minutes. Well done, Beasty. I want to clap my hands to you, buddy. I played so many FFA games where that has happened, and I've given up a lot earlier than what you did. So very well played. Big shots coming through. A lot of lost cannons about to occur. Like, this doesn't feel good. You can see him rallying these cannons out. A lot of resources about to go down here. VortiX picking up 4 cannons for free. Nice defense that does come out, though. But I tell you what, you would have much preferred to have had these cannons come in on this angle and then at least had a chance at defending them. Elite Desert Raiders on the way through. Let's ride on board with XT Space. He's got a lot of resources in the bank, but just not a lot of production, I suspect. Indeed, he's struggling at the moment. Trying to pull it together. More cannons going to be coming online, but he's going to be get them taken out here. And it's just about building up a little bit of, what's the word? You want to build up a little bit of resistance, and those cannons would really go a long way for it. But he continues to roll. Town center getting repaired. I mean, at this point, there's really no excuse. He should just be, this king should be out on the water. Thank you. Just because, like, this is going to happen. He should be fine here. I don't think he's going to have any problem. Okay, good. King needs to go. Thank you. That buys you time, but I don't think you've got time. I think it's only a matter of time here until VortiX rolls over the top of XT Space as well. So VortiX has got a huge military. So now, after all this time, Beasty has, in a sense, bought time here for VortiX. Because it took so long for them to kill Beasty, even in a 2v1 situation, they are only now getting things together as XT Space does go down. Did he surrender? He surrendered. He surrendered. Okay, good. Good, good, good. That is a relief to see. So when you surrender or when you lose your landmarks, your king will spawn on the nearest shoreline. If you delete the transport ship, then you're absolute scum of the earth. And like, I would swear at you worse than that, but YouTube would censor me. So I'm not going to do it. But yeah, that is what I would say. Anyway, at this stage of the game, though, VortiX now hits 300 population, 250 for Lehakos, and meanwhile, Xaverx, he's struggling, and you can feel it. He is not feeling good about himself at this stage. He knows that there is bigger fish to fry in the north, and this is a curious decision from him. I don't know why he's still pushing down here. So at this stage of the game, what he should be doing is he should be speaking and saying like, hey, we got to take out blue together. He should not be pushing yellow, because the only hope that he's got is that he pushes blue and then he gets the king kill and then he can fight yellow, you know, mono y mono. If he's thinking that he's going to be able to take on VortiX, even if he picks up like the 50 pop from this, like even if he runs in and goes and snipes this right now, he doesn't win. Not to mention the fact that he's going to have to fight through all of this. He's going to have to fight the Order of the Dragon. You know, when you got these Giga Chads running around, like it ain't happening, Chief. It ain't happening easily. That is for sure. Meanwhile, you got this absolutely humongous blob, and it's just like, it's an objective misplay, right? It's one of those things where you care about winning the game, right? Like, you don't just care about ruining Beasty's day, which you've done. Well, ruined his game. Let's say that, not his day. You've ruined his game. That's fine. Did you do the right thing for you? I mean, to be fair, like, you had water, right? Like, I feel like maybe going Castle Age, and it's hard to know, man. It's hard to know. I think it's one of those things where you probably did the right thing. I don't think he needed to commit as hard as he did, though. Like, I probably would have swung my attention up this way, but anyway, it's happened. It's gone. And now all of a sudden, Yellow has decided, you know what? If you were going to take me out, there's no way I'm going to help you to take out blue. And meanwhile, VortiX is just like, well, I guess I'm going to eat both of you up. And that's exactly what happens. Have a look at this. He's got a huge army here. 9 scouts in it. 29 Desert Raiders. 59 Spearmen. 54 crossbows. That is a hell of an army right there. Big boy army. Also has Siege coming up the rear. So we've got some battering rams. Not a whole lot of siege, but an absolutely massive army. And is now going to start looking to roll over the top of everybody. So this is just a case of like, you've got a freight train that's just going down a hill. And he's picked up his first kill. And then he's just chilled out, which is definitely what you want to do. I think after you take your first kill, you just kind of chill out, right? Like, you're very happy after your first. Because you go for a second kill, and now you're a target. You can get away with one kill, and people aren't going to be like, oh, he's got a kill, we need to take him out. Like, I think when you go to 2 kills, then people are like, okay, he's got 300 pop, we need to focus him now. So I think the best thing you can do is kind of, like, take that one kill, just chill, max out, which is what I think he's done. Like, he should be maxed out right now. Yeah, he's 300. Yeah, look at this. Beautiful. He's playing it perfectly. Very well played at this stage. So, yeah, has he made a single mistake this game? Other than, like, I would say maybe flipping around, like, the Vils and the, like, the age-ups. That would be the only thing that I would really say. And now, barreling down upon him, I think VortiX has realized the mistake that he's made. He's like, maybe I should have convinced Yellow to help me. And now he's the one that gets 2v1 instead of it being VortiX. VortiX should be the one that should be getting 2v1 right now. That's the only way these guys can come back into it. They need to communicate with each other. They need to talk to each other and explain that. You need to verbalize that. And that's part of the reason why I really hate playing on servers where I don't have English-speaking people, because it's like, you need to communicate that. Could look to be going after landmarks here. We can see him now focusing down the Grand Filani Corral. Not a lot of units back here. He's going to have elite scout warriors. Elite warrior scouts, but he's just going to be overwhelmed completely. We can just see how many units are in here. On the backside, the crossbow spear is kind of good though, not gonna lie. Good luck up against it, and he just rolls over his opponent. Not even close. Too many units. And where is that king? That king's going to be sitting inside the fort of the Huntress, and that's only going to be a matter of time until VortiX just takes it out. You can see that even here we've got Lehekos, who's going to be looking to try and find an angle. Not a whole lot of luck though. Slowly and steadily, these landmarks will come down, and he's obviously getting notified. So he knows that VortiX is in here. Up on top of the mountain. Have a look at this. Hold your horses. We got ourselves a little bit of a defense. Remember, they get that double damage bonus as well when they're, well, not when they're near, but when they go into stealth and come out of stealth. And now from behind, he's looking for a hero. He's looking for a savior right now. Other Lenchkonek's going to be able to do it. There's plenty of them in here. He's deleted a whole bunch of cavalry. He says, you know what? Did he delete it? I don't even know if he deleted it or if they just died. Lenchkonek's trying to come through. He doesn't have a lot of surface area to make much work of it, though. Meanwhile, on the back, the crossbow's just going to rain down supreme. Town center, nowhere to be seen here. The keep is going to be finally revealed. And keep in mind, he can look to try and bring the king out the back. Might be a good idea right now as well, while your enemy is somewhat preoccupied. But still, I don't like your chances of winning this, and you can see that VortiX moves up. He knows that the king is going to be exposed. He wants to make sure the crossbows are in range here. He's going to try his best to hold it, but it looks like the 2v1 may be able to hold this defense just on the line. Will they now work together and take down VortiX, an absolute behemoth in this game? He's trying his best to hold on. Remember that he is using wood here to repair as well. That's the other thing to note. He's got plenty of wood. And it looks like the keeps should be able to stall this out a little bit longer. The only trouble that you've got is that life is a highway, and VortiX is riding it all night long. Have a look at that. Oh, my lord. Can I interest you in some units? VortiX says yes. 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 That is a lot of units. I don't know if you're going to be stopping that. He's going to try for a re-wall, see if he can get it up. All the Vils just typically are going to be working on the one segment. Fortunately, he does. I think he should get it up here. Might take a little bit of damage on the wall, but manages to get it online. He's got the cannon emplacements on the back, or at least should be working towards cannon emplacements on the back eventually. King is coming out now. So he's done well. No court architects just yet. We'll expose the kings. He's thinking about it. Okay, how do I win from this position? I mean, this is a tough spot. How do I win from here? It's not easy. It's not easy, Chief. We'll say that much. More units going to continue coming out. I think VortiX might be thinking about doing some proxy siege workshops. Definitely the right call. And holding on for dear life. El Sensei moves away from the base. Now, let's check in on the south, because this is our kingmaker right now. Lehekos, what's going on here, buddy? You got 51 military. You're just kind of chilling out, minding your own business. Where are your units? I know you got units. Here they are. It doesn't look like much, but this is about half an army right here. That's about the best you can do. These guys are fighting it out on the water once again. And now the battering rams are coming. Round 2. I don't think this time El Sensei is going to have to face off against a savior. There's no way. Brother. If you think this is the winning play, you got another thing coming. Good luck to him. Good luck to him. Slowly and steadily pushing up. Keeps her online. Cannon emplacements on the backside. Not yet through. Doesn't have a lot of stone in the bank. We're watching the wrong player. There we go. Definitely not a lot of stone in the bank, but he does have 185 pop. He's going to try and hold it as best he can. Boiling oil helping out. King inside the keep. Still standing strong. Needs to move that king out now. Needs to throw it in the back here. Just make it a little bit... Give yourself a little bit more time. But look at the amount of units that are in here right now for VortiX. He is pushing into his opponent's base. Keep about to go down. The landmark on the ground. Oh, he's eliminated. I totally forgot. It didn't even matter. You lose the landmark. You lose the king anyway. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Wouldn't have even mattered if he got the king out. I didn't even realize, man. Here I am. I got the IQ of a damp rag right now. It is... It's not the best, but look, we're working on it. Let's check in with VortiX as he makes his way to 350 population. That's ludicrous. So he is obviously in prime position. We're 250 pop against 350 pop. It's still manageable. There's one way that you can win this game as Lehekos. So he needs to take Sacred Sites, which El Sensei is kind of planning for. So there are... How many Sacred Sites do we have? Is it just the 2? Is it just the 2? It's just the 2. This is like 100% doable. So the play would be very simple. You take the Sacred Sites, you wall them, you put gates in, you make culverin, mangonels, and cannon emplacements. That's essentially it. And then you hope. So it would be possible, even though this trade post is here, it still would be possible. He's going to try his best here. Looking to try and make a way through. Keep in mind that this is just the reinforcements from that 50 pop that he's just picked up. Right, like this is a tiny little bit of his army. Because, well, we got this over here. We got this over here. We got a lot. We got 12 crossbows chilling out in the battering ram. So he is able to be pushed back. But it feels like an uphill battle. From the beginning of this game, there seemed to be somebody who was in a decent little spot. Despite not having access to water, despite overcoming the odds, he was surrounded by players that all had their own personal pond. And he still said, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna take him out no matter what. And he did well. He took out the Byzantine player. Started off and managed to just outproduce them. Then he waited for the teal player to take out orange and then immediately made his way towards that position, knocking him out immediately. Marched over towards the base of purple. Took some time, but he got there in the end. And now finally, he makes his march towards the sacred site. One of the best things that you can do when there are 2 people remaining, yourself and one other person, is just start taking the sacred sites. Generates gold for you, guarantees a way for you to win, and also encourages your opponent to come and attack you, especially if you're in a better position. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of religious units making their way down right now. Dervish is on the way. To capture up these sacred sites. We can see he's already got them shift clicked. Big army now starting to build here. He doesn't even need to wait for the sacred site, so he can just start pushing towards the opponent's base. 350 pop. A lot of resources in the bank here as well. Let's check in with Lehekos. Lehekos 174 at the moment, and not a whole lot back there. 110 vills, which is not bad for Order of the Dragon, but definitely compared over to his opponent, El Sensei, who sits on 127 but a huge military. It definitely feels like it might be a little too few. So unfortunate there for him. And it's only going to be a matter of time until he makes his march towards... Have a look at these battering rams. I love this. The battering rams are so difficult to deal with when it's like this stage of the late game. There's nothing worse than just like 20 battering rams showing up in your base. Because they're just going to burn everything down. And if you attack them, then your units die. And if you leave them, then your buildings die. It's like, what do you even do? I really don't know. Is he going to go for a play? He's not going to go for a play. I would go for a play. I think going for a play here works. It doesn't work. I mean, we've got Omnivision and we know. But, like, you could definitely bust this wall down and then, like, break it through to here. That could work. King. Transport ship. That could work. Okay, I'm seeing the vision. I've got Omnivision, though. He's going to try and pick up reinforcements. I think the best word for this is cute. Oh, God. Look at the size of that thing. He's absolutely massive right now, Vortex. Sacred Site approaching. Is he just going full crossbow spear? Can we check? He's literally just going full crossbow spear. A couple of hand cannoneers mixed in. I guess they're very gold heavy. That's one thing to note. So maybe crossbow spear is actually legit in the late game. Maybe I should get my juicy legacy out a little bit more. Start doing double bolt crossbows. Holding on for dear life. Unfortunately, they all go down. The win condition now is very limited for our Order of the Dragon player. And slowly but steadily, he marches towards victory, VortiX does. Chasing away villagers. He'll simply go after landmarks. You're up against the last player here. You don't need to worry about the king. Just go straight for those landmarks, and that is the victory. Of course, you've also got the Sacred Site, and look at him just funneling out unit upon unit upon unit. Still yet to delete villagers at this stage. No real need. He's got more than enough military. I kind of like the crossbows. Crossbows have got 2.12 attack speed. Where's the hand cannoneer? Can we find a hand cannoneer? 2.12. I'm going to have to look for him here. Apparently there's 30 hand cannoneers out. Oh, they're yet to come out. Okay, there we go. They've got 2.12 attack speed as well. So 35 damage base against 22, 11, 33. That's not bad. And they only cost 40 gold compared to 120. That's probably worth it, right? Especially if you've got bigger population space like this. Definitely worth, now that I think about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if you could go 120 crossbow, or 120, yeah, if you could go 120 hand cannoneers, you would. But that's expensive, man. And you want to pace yourself, right? You want to make sure that you've got a decent amount that's here. Continuing to march towards his opponent. It's only a matter of time, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a solid game from VortiX. As I said, I don't think I can fault him, other than the landmark decision, which I can still understand, where he'd be like, yeah, well, I want the 3 vills so I can age up slightly faster. You know, or the 8 vills don't really mean much to me because I'm going to go 3 TC anyway, right? Like in 1v1, the 8 vills mean a lot, but in FFA where I'm going into 3 TCs, like the 8 vills aren't that important. Like, okay, there you go. Like, very well explained. I've explained it for you guys. So at this stage, I think that the nice thing to do would just be to surrender as yellow, but, you know, he's given it a real country try. Still, look, I like that he's throwing these down. He's like, okay, if we can build up a little bit of a mass of gilded hand cannoneers, then maybe we can possibly defend this attack that's coming in towards my king right now. And then I think that if we buy ourselves enough time, then we can eventually build up 46 bombards and then take the sacred sites. I don't know how we get to that last step, but we're going to try. We're going to try. L's back. The last man standing. Landmarks are still here. He's got 1, 2, 3. He's not going to look to focus them. Instead, just going to go straight for the L's back, baby. I don't know if he's got emergency repairs, but it doesn't look like it. And that means it's only a matter of time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. It was a tough game. I feel sorry. I definitely want to say, like, my empathy award, this game goes to Beasty. I feel for you, brother. That was a tough one, man. And obviously the well played award, that's got to go to Green. He did a wonderful job this game, marching those villagers all that way. How good was that march? That was a good little march that he did. But in the end, the winner, the victor, VortiX takes the cake. The final king goes down, and the game gets called. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Casted Games. They are back. They're back in full force. We're going to be casting a lot of FFAs, 1v1s, all that good stuff. So put your suggestions down below. There'll be plenty more where that came from. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.